For 3 decades, we specialize in high-quality recreational properties across 4 southern states. We represent the best of the best landowners, land stewards. We're going to share with you the story of one of the top quail and deer properties in America today and the landowners who steward over it. Join us as we celebrate Three Notch Plantation. There is a reason why those who know the South's greatest properties respect Three Notch. Here, on one property, all of the best of what Alabama has to offer is found, and found in excellent condition. The habitat here, the water, the quality soils, hardwoods, southern yellow pine, wildlife, and the beauty here are all bar none. The rule number 1 in real estate is location, and as such, we represent all 4 of the main quail plantation belts. These are large areas of habitat-focused properties managed with a prescribed fire, primarily for recreation and hunting. Their intrinsic value is derived from their uniqueness and special features both of the region and the property itself. As such, each belt has its own characteristics and hunting culture. Here, since its beginnings, the Alabama belt has been most often sought out for its great quail hunting and unsurpassed value. Today, its value still rings true, but is also now regarded as one of the best turkey and deer hunting areas in the country. The result is that today, the Union Springs Plantation Belt is one of the best buys for the recreational dollar. From a national perspective, we're going to show you that not any other region even comes close.
My father, when he put the place together, his interest was wild birds. And Daddy said, I want the most wild birds per acre that I can get for the least amount of money. So we have decidedly more wild quail than anybody I know in Alabama. We were trying to generate as much wildlife as we could.
It is our job to know and advise others on the best properties. I can testify that this is one of the most prolific wildlife properties one can find. For the birds, one can simply continue feeding, trapping, burning, and maintaining the brood patches and have a very respectable wild bird population. Or one could bring in tall timbers to modernize the quail program and take it to a whole other level. Either way, your cost per wild bird will be among the lowest anywhere. Like others, I have an increasing passion for raising big bucks. During the rut last season, in one afternoon, I saw 3 shooter bucks and dozens with future potential. The age, genetics, and like-minded neighbors are already here. By simply increasing the number of planted acres in the existing food plots, this can be one of the very best deer properties in the South. Three Notch has something that's critical for both wildlife and the eye, and that's habitat diversity. There's always something new and different from each vantage point. Here one has a sampling of great terrain, great water features, all types of timber stands, from ancient southern yellow pine to young and vigorous longleaf stands stretching across the valley. Clear, swift-running creeks from the Pea River to Indian Creek and others. There are duck ponds, both natural and flooded, fish ponds, beaver ponds, and even a lake that provides year-round recreation. There's always something to do here, and everywhere one looks, there's something beautiful.
No one really knows why this country, or this particular place, is hilly in the way that it is. It's unique almost to any place because there are 27 different soil types on this nearly 7,000 acres.
One of the things I love about these great properties is beautiful architecture. The lodge here is one of a kind and done right.
Everything I ever wanted a house to be. Ostensibly, the house on the outside and the inside looks like an old southern house. I love the house.
Three Notch undoubtedly has more timber than the average plantation. What it also has is massive amounts of open park-like hardwoods. These hardwoods are not only gorgeous and offer excellent deer and turkey habitat, but under the new 30 by 30 initiative, the immense value of these hardwoods will most likely be able to be monetized without harvesting them through the new carbon credit and other programs that are being launched right now. If you're not yet familiar with these programs, we encourage you to learn more about this by seeing a habitat specialist from Quail Forever the nation's leader in upland habitat conservation. No video on Alabama would be complete without tipping our hat and showing our reverence to the great field trials and handlers that came before us. There's no doubt that Alabama has some of the best bird dogs in the country.
And Union Springs is actually the field trial capital of America. And we do think that we have some of the best hunting dogs around. And that's because we had the great good fortune of a relationship with Bob Whaley, who would give us puppies and, breed with our dogs. We bred with his and, worked.
Specializing in this niche, we think a little differently than most. A decade ago, we trademarked the term social storm properties, and with that began the beginnings of a brand new asset class. What we noticed is that certain properties had features such as safety, the ability to store hard assets, and other benefits that made them very desirable in the case of bad times. Through the years, we measured various traits and developed a scorecard. In fact, 3 Notch has received some of its highest rankings. This is exactly the kind of place one would go with family during a pandemic or the next thing to come along. These properties also happen to be one of the best investments one can make. If tomorrow's a better day, 3 Notch will rise with the recreational land market. If tomorrow's a worse day, there will be even a greater demand and will be even more valuable as a social storm property. It's hard to believe that when we first created this asset class, our biggest issue is getting people to simply consider that bad things could happen and they might need a place to go. Today, I don't think there's any debate that a social storm property should be in every high net worth individual's investment portfolio, if it's not already. We represent the best of the best landowners across the country, like the Swift family that have a generational passion for land. This type of land is becoming harder and harder to find, even for us. I can testify that if you're looking for a world-class property to call your own, you're going to have a hard time finding anything that'll beat 3 Notch.
We just live a quiet life when we're here. One comes here for the respite from the rest of the world, really. Well, it's a sanctuary, in the best sense of the word. Plus, it's a lot of fun.